A dive executed by somersaulting backwards. What do you call that?
When it's front way.
No, the word is back. Back is in the. Picture that. Picture me in
When
gymnastics.
it's backwards.
What is what?
A backwards.
That's right. All right, she got it. All right. All right, one young man up here. Let's go. Let's break it out right now. Go for the big money.
600.
All right, there you go. Okay. Here you go. Returning to one's education facility. You go there every Monday. Returning to one's education facility. Where you go on Monday? What? Well, you might not go Monday. Some of them might be on vacation. When is that? That's what he said. Okay, hey, we have microphone problems. He said, "What is back to school?" Give him a hand. All right, here we go. This is the final round. All right, now, this is going to determine the winner because you have to get them right. No coaching from the audience this time. This is for all the money. Big money right here.
Stage.
Which one? Backwards? Okay, thank you. That's right. She's went. Okay. We have a couple of these in here. Sitting behind the driver.
What is the backseat driver?
That's correct, yes. Actually, I have a passenger side driver when I'm driving.
She's talking.
Oh, yeah, she's there. Look, and she's talking. Miss Shabrowski, the lesson's up here, please. Thank you. All right. I'm in trouble. There goes my ham gravy today. Well, I've got your back. All right, 400. This is for some big money right here. All right, listen up. A strong, violent reaction or forceful backward movement.
Backhand.
Oh, I get those.
Oh, you're going to get that.
Say it out loud. Say it out loud. You got 3 seconds. 3. What? A strong, violent reaction or forceful backward movement.
Backward.
That's right. All right. Here we go.
All right. You got
Right now, this is, believe it or not, this is a tie match right here. Okay. All right. A return to work. We're going to get to the business. Return to work. We are going to get to business.
down.
No, we're not going to get down with business. We're going to, well, we're going to get down with some business too, but that's not the answer. What was it? We're going to get where? We're going to get where to business? Back to business. That's right. He's got it. All right, let's give him a round of applause. We have 3 winners here. We have 3 fine gifts. All right, those are all. You get to keep those. You can have those envelopes too, right? Those are, yeah. Keep those envelopes. All right, you guys can have a seat now. Good job. All right, now listen. Listen up, you guys. All this back talk reminds me of those 2 guys in the Bible who were, they kept forward. They were walking forward but looking back. Anybody know who I'm talking about? Anybody knows? Anyway, you can read about it in the book. You can read about it in the book of Luke. All right, and here's the perfect person to tell us. And here's Mike.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody looks very nice this morning, all dressed up for Easter. Well, you may remember that last month we were talking about what? What were we talking about? Shout it out. Honesty. And that last week we heard about Judas and how he betrayed Jesus. Well, Judas did not have Jesus' back, and the chain of events set in motion by that betrayal is what we're going to look back on today. Now, you can read all about it in Luke chapter 24. Well, it begins with 2 men who were followers of Jesus walking from Jerusalem to the town of Emmaus. Well, that was about a 7-mile walk, so those guys roughly had about 2 hours of chat time. Plenty of time for reflection, right? So what was on their minds? Well, the Bible tells us this in verse 14. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. Well, before we get into the everything that had happened part, let me read you the next few verses because these are humdingers. Listen up. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" Well, I'm here to answer that question. They were talking about the everything that had happened. Remember what I read in verse 14? They were looking back and talking about what had to have felt like almost unbelievable things that they'd seen and heard in the preceding few days. Now, to help us do the same thing, I need my 3 volunteers to join me here on the stage. Come on up, ladies. Okay, remember what I asked you guys to do earlier? You guys just go ahead and hold that for me, and then you're going to add these on as we read the story, okay? Now, this is actually what we're going to call a timeline. So as I read the story, you'll see how things proceed through the days. So when Jesus, and remember, they didn't know that this was Jesus that was walking with them. He asked what they were talking about. The 2 guys were so shocked by the question that they stopped and actually gaped at him. They were just like, how would you not know what's going on? Both men's faces creased with sadness as they began to retell the tragedy of what had happened to the man they referred to as Jesus of Nazareth. They told the stranger who had joined them on the road that Jesus was both powerful and a prophet. Now they told the stranger that Jesus had been betrayed, arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced to death by crucifixion. Will you go ahead and add the cross on there for me? Well, that's going to start our timeline. Then the men shared how disappointing it was that Jesus had died because they thought that he had come to save Israel. Well, if he were the true Messiah, he surely would have not have been executed, right? But he had died. His body had been buried in a tomb, and all their hopes had died and been buried with him. Go ahead and add the tomb to our timeline. Well, finally, they had shared what had happened just that morning. They told the stranger that some women went to the tomb and found that it was empty. Go ahead and add the empty word there for us. So the women discovered that Jesus' body was missing. In his place were angels who told them Jesus was alive. Then the men said that more people they knew also went to the tomb and confirmed that what the women had said was true. Well, at this point, the men were done telling the stranger who had joined them on the road about all the things that had happened in the past few days. And that's when the stranger, who was really Jesus, remember, started talking. First, Jesus reminded them of all the prophecies they knew from Scripture.